But Yetta, I just don't have the time.
Everyone has the same 1,440 minutes a day. If it's important to you, you've got the time.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We are honored to invite you and welcome you to another episode of Life's Inside Track. I'm Yetta Dekker.
I'm Ken Dekker.
And it's where we get to share tactics, thoughts, tips, tools, and some truths that we all need. We all deserve. You, I, everyone. So we can turn our house into home, our families thrive, and we live the best life possible. We're going to consider that the small things that take little or no time
Okay.
actually have the biggest impact in our lives.
You mean I can do something that takes no time and it'll impact our relationship?
Yes?
This I gotta learn.
Do you want to know what it is?
Well, I know
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
It's coming, I know.
Okay. Oh,
Spoiler
you know
alert.
already? Spoiler
Yeah.
alert? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
But you may not know.
right. And here's what's the reality is most people, and most of the time, whether it's me or you, Ken, or you that's connecting with us on Life's Inside Track, most of the time we handle the big things really, really well because we see the importance of them. We know what the impact will be if we don't handle it well. So when there's an emergency, we tend to handle those well. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
We tend to
to go to work.
Right. That's a
because
big thing.
We're required to go a certain number of hours. We tend to go. We tend to put in our time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we tend to handle the big events, the big purchases, whatever. We're there for that.
Right. And relationally, we tend to remaining faithful. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
We tend to handle being home at night if we're not out of town traveling. That's a pretty big thing. We tend to handle the things that, like honesty, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where we get tripped up, I think most of us, is in the little things. The itsy bitsy things that maybe take 2 seconds or maybe take no time.
Or just maybe a minute or two. Because it frequently it's the thought, you know, like when you give a gift and they say, oh, it was the wrong thing. And you go, well, it was the thought that mattered. Well, actually, the thought that mattered was that you listened for someone that you're intimately close with, right? If you listen during the year or during the last couple of months, you'll probably know where the interests lie, where there's something that's, you know, they're craving or they desire in their life. And if you buy that, it doesn't really take any more time, right?
It takes 0 time.
But now the thought mattered.
Exactly.
And even if I got it the wrong color, the wrong size, if I got what you were desiring, that's when the thought matters, right?
Right. And simple, I was just with my sister, which was an awesome little adventure. And we got to spend a few days together and we did a little bit of sisterly bonding and shopping in IKEA. And you'd say, what? Yeah, it's not my typical go-to store, nor my sister's.
I don't go to IKEA to bond.
I know. I do. However, because it's from Sweden and we're originally from Denmark, it feels like home in many ways to us.
Okay.
A lot of the foods are similar. The Scandinavian furniture is similar. The types of beddings with the duvets and the duvet covers and even the way they do their fabrics, it's very comfortable for both of us. So we had a fun time wandering around. And we wandered into the marketplace. And Vibeke, my sister, saw these little red and white hearts. It's just paper and it's just a package and then you have to make them. And it's a traditional Danish thing to hang on a Christmas tree. Also a Swedish traditional thing to hang on a Christmas tree.
Right.
And
I used to make those when I was a kid.
So did I, which is so much fun. And she said to me, I need to buy those. And I said, oh, I didn't know you did red and white on your tree anymore. And she goes, oh, I don't. And I know how important these are. Wasn't specifically to any of her 3 daughters or her son or her daughter-in-law. It was how important the Danish little things are to my daughter. to our daughter.
Mm.
And so she bought them. I mean, they were $2. It was so not about the $2.13 or 26 cents, I guess it is.
Yeah.
$2.26. It was about the thought, because she knew that that would matter to Candace.
Mm-hmm.
And so that took her a minute, but she was already aware because she'd been listening when she last hung out with her.
Right. It took a minute and a couple minutes to earn the couple dollars, right?
Right.
Or several minutes, but whatever.
Yeah. So it's the littlest, teeniest things. I mean, that's a very benign story. And yet those things accumulated over time have a significant impact.
Yeah, I think they fill the emotional bank account. And when in a relationship, whether it's romantic or otherwise, right, time is an important piece. And if you don't have a lot of time with someone, you can make a little thing give big results, right? Like a text message, thinking of you, looking forward to seeing you tonight, or looking forward to seeing this weekend, or family member, looking forward to seeing you the next holiday or the next birthday or whatever it is. And remembering dates. Oh my gosh, you're so good at that. And if you're not good at remembering dates like I'm not, you know what really helps is stick them in your calendar, in your Google Calendar, or whatever method you use. Having a system doesn't mean you care less because you couldn't remember it without. It means you cared more, that you create a system or a tool to remind you of the dates that are important to others.
Right. And even today, we were recording and we were creating a Lifestyle Sidetrack episode, and I have my phone set on random photos from my phone as my screensaver.
Right.
And one of our clients, who's also a very good friend and very near and dear to our heart, came up in my photo, and I know he's been sick lately and not feeling great. So when I saw the photo, even though it was during my bathroom break and changed break, I thought he's going to feel appreciated if I send him the picture that I just found in my screensaver. So I took a screenshot, I sent it to him, and I said, "How are you feeling today? Just thinking about you." And it's amazing how, like, what did it take me? At least 30 seconds. But that's all it took.
Yeah.
And it still made an impact and made a deposit into his life. And you can't do that 500 times a day because now it takes a lot of time. However, if you're choosing your top 50 people that have the biggest impact in your life, and you just allow the cues, right? That was just a cue by seeing a photo.
Yep, and you could have looked at it and go, "Oh, that's nice," and moved on with your day.
Which would have taken about the same amount of time, within maybe 15 seconds. Right. So it's looking at those itsy bitsy things that can make a big impact.
Yeah. Now, we promise that we talk about a couple things that don't take any time, which have a big impact. And I think what you're talking about is tone and attitude. And I know that, one time I was washing the dishes and I didn't have a very great attitude about it. And I said, "Aren't you happy I'm washing the dishes?" And she said, "No, I want you to want to do the dishes."
Exactly. And so one of the little tiny things is always knowing what's next on this journey. So our question is, what do you know is next for someone that you need to just express?
And so what can you do in the next 24 hours to pour into a relationship that takes a very little bit of time, but that relationship's very important to you? We're honored to be positioning you to build wealth wisely because it's about much, much more than just money.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward.